Hello Ken family. Hope everyone is doing good. So this video is all about how to create your OINP portal. I know last time you might have saw this video where we spoke about what is employer role when after you getting the invitation for the OINP. That time we have received a lot of requests saying that sir, we would like to know about how to create our own OINP portal. And again, this video is covering that whole thing step by step, that if you want to do your own PNP application, how you can do it. Let's make it very simple. Let me give you a little bit of an introduction and then I will go and show you the each and every step. And during covering that step, I will also make you understand that what are the important things which you have to follow while creating the PNP profile. So let me start with a basic understanding of the PNP. So now PNP, OINP, Ontario PNP. All these are one thing, just names different. So Ontario PNP's official name is OINP, which is Ontario Immigration Nomination Program. People call it Ontario PNP. Under the PNP, there are totally 9 different streams. As of 2025, only 8 streams are active. In those 8 streams, 3 streams are employee dependent, international student job offer stream, foreign worker job offer stream, and in-demand stream. The rest stream comes under the human capital stream, which includes French speaking stream, human capital priority stream, skilled trade stream, master's stream, and PhD streams. Now, let's look into what are the streams which really need employer support. When I'm talking about in detail about those particular streams which need employer support, you need to look into the job offer category where your employer has to be qualified, where your employer need to have a business for more than 3 years operating, where your employer need to have a 3 to 5 Canadian employers. If it is in GTA, then 5 full-time employees or who need to be citizen or PR. If it is outside GTA, then only 3 full-time employees, Canadian citizens or PR is required. But most important thing is the total revenue they have generated last year. So if a business is within GTA, then those employers need at least 1 million revenue in last year tax returns. Whereas if it is outside GTA companies, then they can even go with 500,000 revenue. Most of the employers nowadays understand that what is PNP means. If not, you can share our video, which I'm gonna tag below, which is gonna explain you about the entire details about what are the PNPs, how the PNPs are. Even you can able to watch it to understand about the different options you have in Ontario, or you can even share with your employer so they can also understand that which pathway they can able to support you. Now, let's jump into how to create a PNP profile. So first and most important thing is you need to create your Ontario portal. That technically like how you create your Instagram, Facebook kind of a ID for your own account, same like how you might have did for your GC key. Same thing you have to follow. So if you are watching the screen at this point, so this is how the basic Google search you can do. You can Google OINP portal. Once you do the OINP portal Google search, you will see the first tab which will be showing OINP capture ontario.ca. You need to click on that. Once you click on that, you technically go where you will be on this screen. One tricky thing with is when you go to this page say that, okay, you have to tick on I'm not a robot. And this is from years. A lot of people reach me saying that, so I reached to this page, but when I'm clicking, it's not ticking, like there's no blue tick mark coming. That's a little bit tricky situation. Again, you just need to click on it. It automatically just validate you. So once you click on it, you then need to go to continue. Once you do continue, it will take you to a page, Ontario page, where if you are first time creating your Ontario PNP portal, then you can select the option create account. However, if you already had an account, then you can directly just log in with your email ID and password. Let's consider at this point that you are very new to this OINP portal, your employer is supportive, he gave you a job ID, but you never had a OINP portal. Then what you have to do is you need to click on create account. So as you see in the screen, click on the create account where it is gonna ask you about the email. So please note, the email ID has to same as you are giving to your employer, because your employer is also going to ask you for an email ID to send you a job offer ID, and all the communication between the employer, OINP and you will be through this particular email. The one common mistake which I have seen is a lot of international students have a multiple emails. They use one for the express entry, one for the PNP, one for the official one is like for their rest social media account. Try not to do that. Just keep one email ID which you are using for your employer, for the communication, as well as you can use it for the official purpose. So if you're using that one email ID which you give it to your employer for creating a job ID, it will just make your life simple. If you give a different email ID, you may face a difficulty later on to linking the job ID with your Ontario portal. You should try to only have one email ID which your employer is going to use and you are going to use to create your OINP portal. Now let's see that once you give that same email ID which you give it to your employer, then you need to enter your password. So again, try to keep a password which includes 8 characters, 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase letter, 1 number and 1 symbol. It's very important that this makes a very strong password, because if your password is weak, it can be easily hacked nowadays. Once you select your password, then you select on the blue where it says that I agree to the terms of service. You click on that and then automatically the create account will become blue. You click on that. Once you click on it, automatically the email ID which you have entered will receive one email where you have to click and verify that that email is yours. Once you do that, congratulations, the first step of OINP portal is completed, where you actually having a OINP portal. Now let's see what you have to do next. So once again, how you log in is you go to Google and you search for OINP portal. Once you search OINP portal, and then what you can do is you can enter your email ID and the password which you have used to create the account. Please always do not rely on the technology that your computer has autosave. Try to write it down on a piece of paper, because if you lost that, it can lead to a lot of stress, especially when you're doing a submission, a PR portal. Always my recommendation is that always put a username and password. Yeah, there are some ways by which you can able to validate through your bank, but through my experience, what I have understood is when you do a validation through your bank, if your bank has some kind of technical issue, you may face a difficulty to log in. And if it is a critical time when your submission has to be done on that same day, and unfortunately the technical issue is going on with the bank side, guess what? You will be stressed and you may lose the deadline. So better to have a portal where you can use the username and password just to make it simple. So once you log in using your username and password, the next screen, it shows like this. Please note, it may take some minutes or sometimes some seconds to get into the next page. OINP website is known for very slow processing. Don't refresh the screen, because if you refresh the screen, you will again logged out and then you have to log in again. So please, once you click in sign in, you need to wait. You will go to this page where once again, it will ask you to enter the family name, given name and email. Let me give you a pro tip here. Enter the family name and given name as per your passport. One of the common mistake what I have seen a lot of international students do is they don't like the full name. If someone have a first name, middle name, last name, they just try to go with the first name, or they just put first and last name. The middle name they don't use. If you do that, technically it can be a different person and your portal, your application can be refused. So always, to every international student, if you are creating any portal, if you're doing any application, you're doing any document, try to stick on with your original name as per your passport. Maybe you have a very big mid-name, middle name or a surname, try to put that in. I have came across a lot of application where students, just because that their last name or their family name is too big, they try to avoid that and try to use initial, or some people don't even mention that. That's misrepresentation. Try to put your complete name as per your passport. However it is mentioned on your passport, you have to use that in all the documents. So this is very important when you're enrolled in college, when you're asking for your experience letter from your employer, when you're going for SIN, when you're going for driving license, when you're signing a lease agreement, everywhere try to stick on with the name as per your passport. This will just make your life very easy. Let me tell you one more question which I come across. Sir, on my passport there is no family name or there is no first name. What should I do? So again, a pro tip, if you don't have a family name, what usually people do is they try to write the first name in 2 places, same. What I technically do is I put as FNU, family name unknown. So where it is written surname or family name, you can just use capital FNU. It technically means that family name unknown. Whereas in the SIN number, if you might have seen, if you go to Service Canada, they just put the first name in both the places, because again, in Canada, the family name is something which is very important. So they just write the same name as a first name into both. Vice versa, if on your passport there is a family name but there's no first name, what you can do is just mention your family name as per your passport, and where it is asking for the first name or given name, you can write it down first name unknown. Again, it is FNU. This short form is used by all the officials, so don't worry, it is not a misrepresentation or anything. You are good to go with that. So again, coming back to the application, now we are at the page where it's asking for a family name, given name and email. Please note, when you create a profile, when it is asking to enter your first name, family name, email ID, I always recommend every international student or all my clients that try to keep a screenshot of that same in your notes. Because if you save that in your notes, or if you wrote down that what information you have given, there's less chances of having errors in that. So you can enter your family name, you can enter the given name, you can enter the email, and once this part is done, you can press on the continue button. Again, it's gonna take a little bit time. OINP site is really slow. Okay, so now ignore this page. This is like, because I am a legal representative, in whenever you go through any legal representative like an immigration consultant or a lawyers, we don't use GC key. Let me add one more serious note there. If someone is using a GC key, take this in writing, the person is not a legal representative. He's just doing a submission as you are doing the submission, and there is no legal liability on them. Always, whenever you hire any legal consultant or lawyer, you should be very keen on that, whether they are making you sign the legal agreement, that is a retainer agreement. Second, they are making you sign IMM 5476, which is basically use of representation. And third, they are not using the GC key, because if someone using GC key, that means your application is not filled up by the immigration consultant. It might be filled up by some agent sitting in India or some Philippines or China, where they are doing everything and just the name of the person is coming that, okay, this immigration consultant or a lawyer did the application. Basically, this is negligence. This is not a legal practice, but unfortunately, this is very common in immigration firm. When people wanted to do a lot of application in a very less fees, they compromise the application by giving your application to some person who might be just doing data entry in the GC key. In short, when you are logging in, you may only see just one tab there, submit a new application. So if you click on submit a new application, so once you click on that, like you see here, it will tell you about the entire PNP application. Like I explained you before, there is a job offer stream, there is a human capital stream, there's a business stream. Business stream is closed for the Ontario, but there you can see all the job offer streams and all the other express entry based streams which you can able to select. So if you are an international student who recently passed out from one of the course, you have a good employer, within 2 years, if you wanted to apply for a PNP, you should be aiming for the international student job offer stream. If you are a person who have more than 2 years of experience, median wage, supportive employer, then you can go with a foreign worker job offer stream. And third and most important job offer stream is in demand stream, in which usually the tier 4 and 5 sort of knock codes comes. Most popular is a machine operator or a home care provider, butcher, those kind of knock code which is coming at tier 4 and 5 usually comes under this. If you wanted to know more about it, I'm gonna post a link below where you can go and understand about the different PNP options, what are the eligibilities, where you need employer support, how it has to be done. Everything is well explained. But still, if you have any doubts or question, comment below. Me and my team will be there to help you out. So once you click on any of particular application, for example, for now, I'm trying to create a profile under the employer job offer stream, foreign worker stream. So if I click on that, it takes me to this page where it say that, okay, would you like to proceed? I click on that. Once I click, it will ask you to enter the job offer ID and email ID. Please note, the job offer ID has to be which is given by your employer, and the email ID is the one which you have given to your employer to create a job ID. Like I said before, if you miss that, again, I'm repeating, try to keep one email ID, official email ID, which you can use it for the PNP, and that has to be same. If you use multiple email ID, after coming here, you will stuck, and now again you have to contact your employer to update the email ID, where unfortunately they don't have any option to edit. So what the employer has to do is, employer has to delete the whole job offer ID and create a new one. I have one client who requested the employer 4 times to create a job ID because he has given 4 different email IDs. Think about it. Employers are good, but if you piss them off, they can say that, no, I'm not going to do that. Please don't try to be in that position where the employer get pissed off and he say he's not going to support you. So one email ID everywhere. So once you enter the job offer ID and email ID, then you can press continue. Once you press continue, then it will take you to, so once you click on the job ID, everything is done. Automatically you go to a page where you start entering all the information. So the information page will be something like this, where it will ask you for the user profile. So already you might have given your given name, you have given your middle name, you might have given your date of birth. These kind of information, most of the things, it automatically comes in because this is the information which you have given when you created a profile. Those information which was not given, that you can start enter now. So including the passport number, the country of citizen, these all things are already taken down when you created this profile. So it will be there already. The rest of the information where you see blank, that's something you start to enter. So once you fill this one page, then you go to the next one. So if you see on the top, you will see all the tabs which ask you for the information. But the second tab, it's more about your employer information. The second tab, it will ask you for the employment factors. So employment factors are something where you have to enter your NOC code, your hourly wage, how long you are working, what is your total notice of assessment income. So yes, very important thing. When I'm talking about the tab which says that what was your total highest pre-tax income as stated in your Canada Revenue Agency notice of assessment in any one of the last 5 years, technically you need to enter the amount which is more than 40,000 in last 5 years. So most of the students, if you are applying for an international student job offer stream, you need to go with a 1 year back. So if we are talking about 2025, you need to enter the notice of assessment in 2024, which you might have filed in 2025. Because in this, if you have filed for the notice of assessment for more than 40,000, you get extra point. So sometime paying the taxes gets you the PR. True. In this, if your total income, that's not just the income generated by this one company or this employer, even if you are working under one of the employer who's supporting for your PNP, on the side, if you are doing some kind of a pizza making or some pizza store you're working, if you have multiple income, that is fine. If the notice of assessment is more than 40,000, you need to enter that number here. And if it is more than 40,000, you're getting extra point. Other than that, it will ask you for the immigration status, where you can even apply if you're on implied status. So yes, the pro tip, the job offer stream don't need to be that where you need to have a work permit only or study permit only. Even if you just submitted your postgrad open work permit, even if your work permit is expired and you applied for a visitor record or you applied for a appeal application on work permit, still you can able to create your PNP profile, because once again, it gives the option where you can select that you are on an implied, maintained or implied status. It will ask you for other questions which you can able to enter. Most important thing about the client ID number. Most of the students ask me, what is this client ID number? It's basically a UCI number. You go on your permit, study permit or work permit, there you can see a 9-digit or 11-digit number. That is your UCI number. You take that, enter it here. Expiration date of the current IRCC document, not mandatory, not needed. If you're on implied status, you don't have that, so not needed. But if you have a work permit or study permit, you always have an end date on the permit that you can enter it here. Going to a next page, once you click on it, you go to an education site. Now, when you're looking into an international student job offer stream, it specifically asks you to enter your Canadian education only. So yes, you have to enter that properly. And then also you can enter if you've done your WES. If you have not done your WES, but you have did degree or masters from back home, literally you can skip this portion where you need to enter your back home experience. You can even get qualified into the PNP like an international student by doing a 1 or 2 year graduate certificate or other certificate programs, which again, I have mentioned it here. You can look into this video, which explain detail about what all courses you can do to get qualified into a international student job offer stream. Please note, when you're entering any foreign work experience, your WES has to be with you. If WES is not there, even if you get an invitation, your application can be refused because you try to misrepresent yourself. When you don't have WES, it will be not getting you the qualification. You cannot able to claim point under that. Once you enter all the information about your education, start date, end date, the college you studied, the state, country, everything, Then you can go to the next page, which asks you for the IELTS. One thing which I have noticed is a lot of people who don't even have a IELTS, they contact some immigration firm. And recently I have noticed that some of the immigration firm, there in demand stream, there is no points. So you don't need to write IELTS. No, it is right, there is no points, but again, it is one of the mandatory information which you have to enter while creating a profile. If you reach till here and you think that our videos are educational and it is educating you and your friends, don't forget to like and press the bell icon, because every day we post educational videos which gets you educated and make you feel that how easy the immigration process is. So coming back to the application, once you complete your language proficiency, then you go to the next page where it says about the regionalization. Regionalization is something where you can enter if you studied inside Canada or you're working in Canada. You need to look for the county. One of the things which I've noticed is people say that, okay, I studied in Kitchener, but I cannot able to find in a drop-down option that Kitchener option because the county is Waterloo. Same thing. If you studied in somewhere in a Barrie side, you need to select a county which is a Simcoe. Literally, you can do a Google on this. It's very easy. Don't get confused. Just go to Google, just search for county where the city you live in. Now, if you are in GTA, now there are two options. Either it's in Toronto or it's in North York. There are different counties, but again, you can able to Google that. Inside GTA, most of the PNP application don't get you extra point. But if you are outside GTA, then you get extra points. So once again, studying outside GTA, work outside GTA, you get extra points. That's a pro tip. So if you have an employer who have multiple locations and you're working in GTA, ask your employer if they can able to move you or transfer you to a different location outside GTA, because that can increase your points. So once you enter that, the next page is technically for the strategic priorities. It's basically covers that RADI communities. If you are one of that communities, and you can click on that, you can select it. The only advantage of this particular tab is if you are following under one of the RADI communities, then even though the particular sector or particular region wise or particular knock wise kind of a draw might be coming, but if you are in RDI, you will get a priority. So even though you are a cook, like for example, from last 1-2 years, there is no draw coming for specifically for cook. But if you are under RADI, there is a greater chance that you may get into the PNP easily, even with a lower score or higher score, doesn't matter, because your community is recommending you to get the priority for the PNP. So this tab is only for RADI or special programs under the PNP. Once you do that, then you can go to the next page, which says that confirmation. This is very important. Always remember, this page is technically going to tell you the breakdown of the points depending upon the information what you have entered. This page is very important, that you should verify each and every information based upon the documents you have. Let me tell you a pro tip. Always create the profile based upon the documentation. I have noticed one of the practice, which is not something which is I can justify for. So let me just make it clear. Most of the immigration firms, immigration consultant lawyers, what they do is they create the profile based upon the information from the client. Now think about, a student is saying that, okay, he did degree from back home, but if the VES comes and VES is not approved as a degree, guess what? The information what you have entered is not going to be getting you that much of point, and you are misrepresented on your application. So I always recommend every CAN family member that whenever you create a profile, even if it is Express Entry, PNP, AIP or any other application, it's not just about how fast you're creating a profile. Your profile should be created based upon the documentation. So once you have a documentation, then start creating the profile, because once again, in PNP, the trick is employer cannot edit anything. So even if your wages change, your email ID is changed, your first name, last name is mixed up, unfortunately, your employer has to delete the existing job ID and he has to recreate a new job ID. So try to follow the documentation, your passport, your education thing, your experience, your wage, your email ID, everything proper, so that in one go, you can able to create your entire profile. So let's back to the portal. So again, if you miss anything, so for example, you miss that, okay, what is the user profile, what is the email ID you have used, you can see here, all this general user profile, employment factor, education language, this blue kind of thing, which shows you each and every tab. If you missed anything, you can just click there. It will take you to that particular tab where you can able to verify everything. I usually recommend every CAN family member, if you're doing by yourself, try to keep a screenshot of each tab. It is just for your reference that what information you have entered. So even if you go through any immigration consultant or lawyer, you can send them this so that they can verify the information. Even though when they take over your file, they can review it, but it's always better to keep a record of each and every information what you are entering. So once you enter all the information, then you just need to go at the bottom where it says submit. Once you submit it, technically you will be receiving one email saying that your expression of interest is created. Once you submit it, then you will receive an email which will be saying that your OINP profile is successfully created. Under this stream, this is your EOI number, and there you are created your profile. So congratulations. If you reached till here, definitely you are the person who should be getting the invitation under the PNP very, very soon. But if you face any difficulty or if you have any questions, concerns, please drop down your comment. We are there with you to educate you and make you understand that how easy can be the PR pathways. Especially, I really wish that every international student should try to do an application by themselves, because again, it is expensive when you go through anyone, especially go through a good person, you may be spending more money. But think about when you can do the postgrad open work permit or a study permit extension by yourself, why don't you try to do your express entry or PNP application by yourself? It's also one of the simple application. People surrounding to you just making you believe that PR is not possible. Trust me, but you are a part of a CAN family member and you deserve to get a PR. So once you create a profile, everything is good. If you wanted to recheck your profile, once again, follow the same step. Google OINP Portal, you go into it, enter your login credential, password, your first name, last name, email ID, log in, and you can able to look into. Please note, if you make any changes, you still need to go into the confirmation tab. You need to resubmit it. One pro tip. I see a lot of students who wanted to make some changes after creating a profile. They log in into it, they enter the information, but they don't complete the step. Like at the last where the confirmation page come, after that they don't submit the application. If you don't submit it, it is not gonna enter, it's not gonna validate in the form. So technically, yes, you entered the information, but it is not got validated by the OINP. So your application can be returned or your application remain the same as it was before. So always, yes, you can enter, you can change your details if you want. If you wanted to change, like you got a new IELTS score or you wanted to update your education or your work history, you can do that any number of times before getting an invitation. But please, once you do that, complete the process, go till the confirmation, submit it, where it is going to ask you for your first name, last name, date of birth once again at the last, and you can signature digitally and you can submit it. Once you do this step, you're good to go. Your PNP can become next. Let me tell you one more information, which is very interesting, that every portal, every OINP profile has a different score system. So for example, in foreign worker job offer stream, which is one of the employer dependent PNP, the good score, which I can say is more than 51 points. Whereas if I'm talking about the international student job offer stream, the best score is something which is more than 75 or 80 points. Same thing. But however, when I'm talking about the in-demand stream, the good score is 34-35 points. Yes, 33-32 score are good, or even in international students, even when you're looking into a 60-57 point, that is good, but it all depends upon your knock code. Let me give you an example. If a person who is working in demand stream and the employer is ready to help the person to create a PNP profile, and that particular individual now created a profile where the person is currently working in a Sault Ste. Marie and the person's score is only 31 points. Whereas his friend who is working in London and his score is around 35 or 36 points in the in-demand stream. Guess what? In 2025, even though the person who's 31 point working in Sault Ste. Marie side might have received the invitation, but unfortunately, a person who is working in an in-demand stream and in London or Kitchener, Waterloo, Niagara Falls area or in Toronto area might be still waiting to get an invitation. The reason is very clear. It's about the location, because this regionalization, what we have selected in 2025, it was all about the Northern Ontario and Central Ontario. Southern Ontario was remained untouched for the in-demand stream, and same like that, most of the other streams also was knock code prioritized. So priority sector only got the invitation, international student, foreign worker. Rest of the knock codes are unfortunately did not receive the invitation. We will be coming up with many videos with educating you that how PR is possible in Canada, what you have to do, what you have to keep in mind, what thing you have to stay away from. For the support, do like, subscribe, and share the channel with one of your friends who you really care for. Because like I said, CAN team working for a CAN family, and that's how we go. So I hope you got all the information. See you in the next video. Till that, take care. Have a great day. Signing out. Bye.